Sometimes, your mind talks so much that it feels like you are living inside a noisy room. Thoughts are running non-stop, worries, memories, what people said, what will happen tomorrow, what will go wrong. And the truth is, when your mind never stops talking, you're not really thinking, you're suffering. We keep checking our phone every 2 minutes, we feel stressed for no reason, we overthink small things, and at night we cannot sleep because our brain is busy creating imaginary problems. But what if the real secret to peace, confidence, and happiness is not somewhere in your future? What if it is hidden inside this exact moment, right now? Eckhart Tolle says that the present moment is the most powerful place in your entire life. And in this video, we will understand how to live in the now.
Chapter 1. The Awakening. When a Thought Isn't You. Eckhart Tolle's journey started with a deep personal breakdown. For years, he lived with constant fear, anxiety, and depression. His mind kept attacking him with negative thoughts like, "I can't live with myself anymore." One night, he reached a point where he felt he could not continue living with this heavy mental noise. But in that exact painful moment, something strange happened. He suddenly realized, if I can't live with myself, then who is the I and who is the myself? This simple question shocked him. He understood that there are two parts inside us, the real I, which is peaceful and silent, and the myself, which is made of non-stop thoughts. This was his awakening. Tolle realized that the thoughts in our mind are not who we truly are. We are not the voice inside our head. We are the one who is watching that voice. You are the observer of your thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. For example, when your mind says, "I'm not good enough," "people don't like me," "something bad will happen," these are just thoughts passing through your mind, not your identity. Your mind is like a radio creating noise, but you are the listener. The moment you understand this difference, that your mind is not you, you open the door to inner peace. Tolle calls this the biggest shift of his life, and this is the first step of spiritual awakening.
Chapter 2. The Mind as Your Enemy. The human mind is a powerful tool, but when it controls us instead of helping us, it becomes our biggest enemy. Most of our suffering doesn't come from real-life situations. It comes from our overthinking. We keep replaying old memories, mistakes, fights, and failures from the past, and this creates regret. Then we jump into the future and imagine problems that haven't even happened yet, which creates anxiety. Our mind keeps dragging us between the past and the future, and because of this, we rarely live in the present moment. Eckhart Tolle explains that this constant movement of the mind is the main source of pain. When we live in psychological time, we are trapped. Psychological time means living inside your thoughts instead of living in the reality of now. The past only exists in your memory. The future only exists in your imagination. But your mind keeps repeating them so much that they feel real. You may be sitting in a peaceful room, but your mind is busy fighting with someone in your imagination. You may be safe in the present moment, but your mind is worrying about a future that doesn't exist yet. Tolle says, your mind pulls you everywhere except now. And that is why people feel stressed, restless, and disconnected. The mind is always running like a machine, but it doesn't know how to stop. When you realize that overthinking is the enemy, you start taking back control. You begin to see that peace is never found in the past or future. It is only available in the present moment. When you bring your attention back to now, the mind slowly loses its power over you.
Chapter 3. The Power of Presence. Presence is the heart of Eckhart Tolle's teaching. Presence means being fully aware of this moment, not lost in yesterday, not stressed about tomorrow,
but completely connected to what is happening right now. When you are present, your mind becomes quiet, your breathing becomes calm, and everything feels clearer and lighter. It is a peaceful state where you are not fighting your thoughts. You are simply watching them without reacting. Tolle explains that the past and future only exist inside your mind. The past is nothing but a memory, a story your brain keeps replaying. And the future is only imagination. It has not happened yet. But the present moment is real. It is the only place where life actually happens. Presence feels like a deep breath after a long day, a moment where your mind finally stops running. When you are truly present, you experience clarity and peace. Small tasks feel easier. You listen better. You think more clearly. You feel more alive. Problems that felt huge suddenly become smaller because your mind is not creating extra fear around them. Presence allows you to live instead of just thinking about life. It is like wiping dust off a window. Suddenly, everything looks brighter. Tolle says that presence is not something you need to learn. It is already inside you. All you have to do is bring your attention back to this moment, to your breathing, your body, your surroundings. The more you practice presence, the more peaceful and powerful your life becomes.
Chapter 4. The Pain Body. Why You Keep Suffering. Eckhart Tolle introduces a powerful idea called the pain body. The pain body is the emotional baggage we all carry inside us. All the old hurts, heartbreaks, disappointments, childhood wounds, and past traumas that we never healed. These painful emotions don't disappear. They become like a living energy inside us. And this stored emotional energy waits for chances to wake up. Tolle says the pain body feeds on negative emotions. It grows stronger whenever there is anger, drama, stress, or conflict. That is why sometimes a small issue becomes a big fight. It's not the situation, it's your pain body getting activated. You might notice this when you overreact to something simple, or when you suddenly feel irritated, sad, or angry without any clear reason. At that moment, your pain body has taken over your behavior. The pain body wants you to suffer because it survives on emotional pain. That is why some people keep repeating the same emotional patterns, same arguments, same sadness, same hurt, again and again. It is like a cycle of suffering that continues because the pain body needs more negative energy to stay alive. But here is the good news. Awareness dissolves the pain body. When you notice your emotional reaction as it happens, when you say to yourself, "Okay, this is my pain body rising," it immediately loses power. You are no longer controlled by it. Instead of reacting automatically, you become calm and conscious. And slowly, the pain body becomes weaker. Tolle explains that every moment of awareness burns a little part of the pain body. When you stay present and observe your emotions without judging them, healing begins naturally. You come out of the cycle of suffering and move into a state of freedom.
Chapter 5. The Ego, Your Invisible Prison. According to Eckhart Tolle, the ego is the false identity we create in our mind. It is not who we truly are. It is just a collection of labels, achievements, and roles. The ego says, "I am this, I am that, I am better than others, or sometimes I am worse than others." It depends on external things to feel important. For example, it attaches itself to your job, your education, your money, your social status, your looks, your opinions, and even your failures. The ego always needs something to hold on to so it can feel like it exists. The problem is that the ego is never satisfied. No matter what you have, it always wants more. More praise, more success, more attention, more control. Even if you achieve something great, the ego quickly forgets it and starts chasing the next thing. That's why people often feel empty even after achieving their goals. The ego keeps saying, "When I get this, I will be happy." But when you get it, it wants the next thing. It creates a constant chase that never ends. This is why the ego is like an invisible prison. It keeps you trapped in comparison, competition, jealousy, fear, and insecurity. You start living your life for other people's approval instead of your own peace. The ego creates separation, me versus others, my opinion versus your opinion, my success versus your success. This is the root of many conflicts in relationships, workplaces, and even inside your own mind. Tolle explains that true freedom comes when you can see your ego clearly. When you notice the ego speaking, when you hear that inner voice saying, "I want more, I'm not enough, what will people think?" you become conscious. You realize that this voice is not your true self. Your real self is calm, silent, and present. The moment you see the ego, you stop obeying it. And when you stop obeying it, the ego loses its power over you. Awareness is the key. Once you understand that the ego is just a mental story, you stop being controlled by it. You feel lighter, kinder, and more peaceful because you no longer need to constantly prove yourself. This is the beginning of a free and authentic life.
Chapter 6. Acceptance, the most misunderstood power. Acceptance is one of the most powerful teachings in The Power of Now, but it is also the most misunderstood. Many people think that accepting the present moment means giving up, becoming weak, or allowing bad things to happen. But Eckhart Tolle explains that acceptance is not surrendering to failure. It is simply stopping the unnecessary fight with reality. When you accept the present moment, you are not saying, "I like this situation." You are only saying, "This is what is happening right now, and I choose not to resist it emotionally." Most of our suffering comes from inner resistance. We keep saying, "This should not be happening. Why me? Life is unfair." Or, "I wish things were different." This creates tension, stress, and frustration. The situation is already there, but we add emotional pain on top of it by resisting what is. Tolle beautifully says, "What you resist persists." The more you fight a situation in your mind, the bigger and more painful it becomes. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop taking action. It simply means you start from a peaceful state instead of a stressed one. For example, if you're stuck in traffic, you cannot magically remove the cars, but you can choose not to torture yourself mentally. If someone hurt you, accepting the situation does not mean allowing them to hurt you again. It only means acknowledging the reality instead of denying it. Once you accept the present moment, your mind becomes clear, and you can take better decisions. When you stop fighting reality, your inner energy shifts. You feel lighter, calmer, and more grounded. Acceptance connects you back to the present moment where your real power exists. From this peaceful state, you can respond wisely instead of reacting emotionally. Life becomes smoother because you are no longer adding extra resistance to every situation. Acceptance is not passive. It is intelligent. It is the first step toward real change. When you accept the moment as it is, you gain the strength to change what can be changed and the peace to live with what cannot be changed. This is why acceptance is the most misunderstood but most powerful skill for inner freedom.
Chapter 7. The Art of Surrender. Surrender is one of the most beautiful ideas in The Power of Now, but again, it is often misunderstood. When people hear the word surrender, they think it means losing, giving up, or becoming weak, but Eckhart Tolle explains that true surrender means cooperating with life instead of constantly fighting it. It is not about sitting quietly and doing nothing. It is about letting go of the inner struggle that keeps you stressed and unhappy. Surrender simply means this: stop arguing with reality. When you stop resisting what is happening, your mind becomes calm and your energy becomes lighter. Most of the time, the situation is not the real problem. It is our inner resistance that creates the suffering. For example, if someone speaks rudely, your mind immediately reacts with anger. Why did he say that? How dare he? That inner resistance increases the pain. But if you pause and surrender to the moment, not approving the behavior, but accepting that this happened, you stay in peace instead of being pulled into emotional chaos. Surrender is cooperation with the present moment. It means trusting life a little more. Instead of forcing things to happen your way, you allow life to unfold naturally. You stop pushing, chasing, and controlling everything. This creates space for clarity, and from clarity comes power. Tolle says that when the mind becomes calm, you take wiser action. Decisions made from fear or anger usually make situations worse, but decisions made from a surrendered mind, a mind that is stable, quiet, and aware, are much more intelligent. You respond instead of reacting. You choose instead of blindly attacking. You act with purpose instead of panic. Surrender doesn't mean you accept injustice or stop improving your life. It simply means you handle life from a peaceful state instead of a violent inner struggle. It means letting go of the emotional resistance that blocks your intelligence. When you surrender to the now, you become stronger, not weaker. You become centered, clear, and powerful, because you are connected to the present moment, the only place where real action can happen. Surrender is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign of maturity. It is learning to flow with life instead of fighting every wave. And when you learn this art, a deep inner freedom starts growing inside you. Chapter 8. Living in the Now. Daily Practices. Living in the present moment is not something that happens automatically. It is a daily practice, something you build slowly, like a muscle. Eckhart Tolle says, presence is a muscle. Train it. And the good news is, you don't need any special tools, money, or time. You can practice presence anywhere, anytime. The first and simplest method is conscious breathing. Just take one slow breath and feel the air going in and out. Even a single conscious breath pulls you out of overthinking and brings you back into the present moment. You can do this while walking, working, waiting, or even talking. The second method is feeling your inner body. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the energy inside your hands, feet, or chest. This silent awareness of your own body immediately grounds you in the now. Your attention shifts from thoughts to experience. Another powerful practice is listening without judging. When someone talks, don't rush to reply, compare, or take things personally. Simply listen with full presence. This makes conversations calmer, relationships stronger, and your mind quieter. Tolle also recommends taking tiny moments of stillness throughout the day. Just pause for a few seconds, between tasks, before answering a call, before entering a room. These small pauses break the non-stop mental chatter. They remind you that life is happening right now, not in your thoughts. Presence is not about becoming perfect or peaceful all the time. It's about returning to the now again and again, even if you drift away. Each moment of awareness weakens your old habits of overthinking and strengthens your connection with the present moment. Slowly, your mind becomes clearer, your emotions become lighter, and your life becomes more meaningful. Living in the now is not a one-time event. It is a lifestyle. And when you practice these small steps every day, you begin to experience the real power of presence. Your life is not hidden in the past that you keep replaying again and again. Those moments are already gone, and they only live inside your memory. And your life is also not waiting for you somewhere in the future that you keep chasing with worry and stress. The future is just a picture in your imagination. The truth is simple. Your life is happening right now, in this present moment. This breath, this second, this awareness. This is where your real life exists. If you learn to master this moment, you learn to master everything. When you focus on the now, your mind becomes clear, your emotions become steady, and your decisions become wiser. You no longer get controlled by overthinking, fear, or regret. You take back your power. You begin to live with peace, confidence, and purpose. Eckhart Tolle teaches that when you choose the present moment, you choose freedom. Freedom from your past, freedom from your worries, and freedom from your own mind. So take a slow breath. Feel this moment fully. This is the only moment you ever truly have. The past is gone, the future will come later, but the now is in your hands. Live the now, starting right this second.